Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. This is News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi tells investors at the 4th Global Renewable Energy Meet that India is the best bet for the 21st century. He flags off the Namo Bharat rapid rail service. The Republican presidential candidate survives another assassination bid at a golf event. Donald Trump says he's safe and will not surrender. Sri Lanka gears up for the presidential polls. On the 21st of September, the incumbent president Wickremesinghe is contesting as an independent. In Asian Champions Trophy, India beats South Korea 4-1 to enter a second consecutive final, and China stuns Pakistan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India told investors at the 4th Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet and Expo in Gandhinagar in Gujarat that India is the first nation in the G20 to achieve its Paris climate commitments. India has set an ambitious target of 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel capacity, that's installed capacity, by 2030.
The vibrant city of Gandhinagar in the Indian state of Gujarat is playing host to one of the most significant energy conferences of the year. The Global Renewable Energy Summit brings together global thought leaders, innovators and policymakers to chart a course towards a clean and greener future. As India rapidly transitions to renewable energy, the country is emerging as a leader in global climate action. India has set an ambitious goal of achieving 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel-based power capacity by 2030. At the heart of these efforts is Gujarat, a state known for its pioneering work in solar and wind energy.
हमारे लिए ग्रीन फ्यूचर, नेट जीरो, ये कोई फैंसी वर्ड्स नहीं है. ये भारत की जरूरत है. ये भारत का कमिटमेंट है. भारत की हर राज्य सरकार का कमिटमेंट है. एक डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमी के नाते हमारे पास भी इन कमिटमेंट से बाहर रहने का जायज बहाना था. हम दुनिया को कह सकते थे कि विश्व को तबाह करने में हमारी कोई भूमिका नहीं है, लेकिन हमने ऐसा करके हाथ ऊपर नहीं किए.
During the inaugural session, Prime Minister Modi emphasized India's leadership role in the global renewable energy sector. He highlighted key initiatives such as the International Solar Alliance and also spoke of the PM Surya Ghar Yojana that will power millions of households with solar-powered electricity.
हम ग्रीन ट्रांजिशन को पीपल्स मूवमेंट बना रहे हैं. ये स्कीम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के साथ साथ एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन और एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन का भी माध्यम बन रही है. हर 3 किलोवाट सोलर बिजली पैदा करने 50-60 टन कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का एमिशन भी रुकेगा.
The Reinvest Summit also showcases the prowess of several states. Exhibitions set up in different halls at the Mahatma Mandir also highlight India's commitment towards the renewable energy sector.
भारत G20 में पहला ऐसा देश है जिसने पेरिस में तय क्लाइमेट कमिटमेंट्स को डेडलाइन से 9 साल पहले अचीव कर लिया. 9 साल पहले पूरा कर दिया. और G20 देशों के समूह में हम अकेले हैं जिसने करके दिखाया है. जो डेवलप नेशन नहीं कर पाए, वो एक डेवलपिंग नेशन ने दुनिया को करके दिखाया है.
Not just this, several countries like Germany, Denmark, Norway are also visiting the summit with a business delegation. India's focus on the sector looks promising, and the path towards a sustainable and green India is not far away.
The three-day investor summit on the renewable energy sector in Gujarat is attracting participants from across India, and not just across India but from across different parts of the world. This investor summit is going to give the much needed push and impetus to India's renewable energy sector, attracting millions of dollars of investment in the coming years, and in fact giving and realizing India's dream to reach the 500 gigawatt of renewable energy generation in the coming years. With camera person Lalit, this is Dibyendu Mondal from Gandhinagar in Gujarat for DD India.
Well, at the fourth Global Renewable Energy Summit, Germany, which is a partner country at the summit, has a large business delegation, and DD India correspondent Dibyendu Mondal spoke to the German Development Minister Svenja Schulze about German interest in this field.
At the Reinvest Summit here in Gujarat's Gandhinagar, I'm joined by the Development Minister from Germany. How do you look at the entire renewable energy sector of India, and how confident do you think that this sector will grow in India, and what kind of partnership can we look from Germany?
We have a long cooperation between India and Germany over decades now. Now we are looking forward for the next step. We want to build a partnership between India and Germany for renewable energies, because we are really convinced we cannot solve the problems of climate change without India. India is the fifth biggest economy of the world, is the biggest democracy of the world. And so we have an interest from the German side to bring renewable energies forward in India.
What are the kind of technologies that Germany is showcasing here at this particular exhibition that perhaps you have seen getting an interest from the Indian side?
I've learned that in India, the German companies are very well known, that made in Germany is known as quality. I saw that here in the metro. So what we want to do is bringing these made in Germany also in the part of renewable energies here to India. And there are some cooperations between companies in India and in Germany, and foster that, bring that forward, having more partnership so that India is able to solve the problems of the world.
What kind of cooperation or any agreement that has been signed or any MOUs that have been signed on this sector, what are you going to take back from India when you go?
Yeah. We will take back this partnership. We really signed this partnership for renewable energies. We will bring back a lot of memorandum of understanding. Some companies, some associations signed here these memorandums, and I think that is a big step forward, that we have concrete next steps for working together.
When India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday flagged off the country's first Vande Metro, now renamed as the Namo Bharat Rapid Rail service between Bhuj and Ahmedabad. The Ahmedabad-Bhuj Vande Metro service will stop at 9 stations and cover 360 kilometers distance in 5 hours and 45 minutes. The new Vande Metro will boost India's railway infrastructure. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also inaugurated Phase 2 of the Ahmedabad Metro Rail project, and while travelling on the new 20-kilometer line, the Prime Minister interacted with students whom he described as energetic youngsters. Here's Vishal Barristow's report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday inaugurated the Phase 2 of the Metro Rail network in Gandhinagar, which is the capital of India's Gujarat. After dedicating the train to the state, he boarded the train with young passengers. Prime Minister later posted a video of his onboard interaction on his social media handle. The project, developed by the Gujarat Metro Rail Corporation (GMRC) in collaboration with the state government and the centre, will further expand the metro network, linking key locations between Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar like GNLU, that's Gujarat National Law University, Pandit Deen Dayal Energy University, GIFT City, Resan, Randesan, Dulakua, InfoCity and Sector 1. This new phase, stretching from Motera to Gandhinagar Sector 1, will connect crucial hubs such as GIFT City, facilitating easy access for professionals, students and tourists. The 20.8-kilometer track connects Sector 1 of Gandhinagar to Motera and the Gift City. The project has been completed well in time.
This is extension of Ahmedabad phase 1 and it will be connecting Ahmedabad to Gandhinagar, and it will have an enormous benefit in terms of improvement in ridership, or because the basic purpose of metro is to reduce the vehicular movement on the roads. So it will decongest the roads. It will have an enormous benefit on the environmental side.
The total project cost for phase 2 metro stands at 5,384 crore rupees, with funding secured through loans from international financial institutions like AFD and KFW. Vishal Baristo's report for DD India.
Moving on, campaigning continues in full swing for the first phase of the assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, 24 assembly constituencies will be going to the polls in this phase on the 18th of this month. Top leaders of major political parties are making every effort to reach out to the voters. The three-phase elections in the 90-member Jammu and Kashmir Assembly will be held on September 18, September 25 and October 1. The results for this union territory will be declared on October 8. On the last day of campaigning for the first phase of Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections, India's Home Minister Amit Shah addressed a public rally at Gulabgarh, Kishtwar and also at Ramban, three different places. And in Kishtwar, the Home Minister said that the people of Kishtwar, they never hesitate to make sacrifices.
मित्रों, ये भूमि बलिदानियों की भूमि, कांग्रेस के गलत निर्णय के कारण जब भारत का विभाजन हुआ तो रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर कहां जाएगी उसका फैसला कराने में जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी की शेख परस्त नीतियों के कारण बड़ी देर हो गई और अपने जम्मू कश्मीर पर संकट आया। जब भी संकट आया, किश्तवाड़ के लोग, ये पहाड़ियों के लोगों ने बलिदान देने में कोई पीछे मुड़कर नहीं दिया।
In a major development in the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital rape murder case, the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee once again held a meeting with a delegation of junior doctors at her residence. Earlier, a letter was sent to the junior doctors stating that this is the fifth and the final time that they are reaching out to the doctors. However, the doctors have been demanding a live streaming of the meeting. Meanwhile, the junior doctors in Kolkata, they continued their protests on Monday against the rape and murder of a trainee doctor. The protest was held near the Swasthya Bhavan in Kolkata. And still to come here on DD India News Hour. We'll get you updates from the Israel-Hamas conflict, which has spilt over into a regional conflict. And Jafar Hassan is Jordan's new Prime Minister, appointed by King Abdullah. Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium, we'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Now, as the US presidential race hots up, another assassination attempt was made on the Republican candidate Donald Trump. Will this be a crucial moment in the elections? Our next report explains.
What happened?
Within a span of 2 months, a second assassination attempt has been made on former US President Donald Trump.
After a gunman tried to kill him at a rally in Pennsylvania, a shooter has now tried to assassinate Trump while he was golfing in West Palm Beach, Florida. Secret Service agents were quick to spot the gunman in bushes, a few hundred yards from where Trump was playing. The suspect, identified as 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Routh, fled the spot in an SUV. He was later tracked down and is now in custody.
We have somebody in custody right now that is a potential suspect. We got a little bit more work to do on it, but as we usually do, as soon as we decide that we're going to book him into the county jail and the charges that he's going to be booked into, we'll get those to you and we'll get a picture of him and we'll get you his background.
Those condemning the incident included Trump's Democratic rival, Vice President Kamala Harris, who said that she was deeply disturbed by the assassination attempt. President Joe Biden said that he has directed his team to continue to ensure that Secret Service has every resource necessary to ensure Trump's continued safety.
Thank God the president's okay. I think we got a full report so far. We're down there tonight. But one thing I want to make clear, the service needs more help. And I think the Congress should respond to their needs if they, in fact, need more services.
While an investigation is underway, the motive remains unclear so far. The assassination attempt has reignited the debate over gun laws in the United States, but its political repercussions are expected to be far less than that of the previous attempt on Trump's life. The July 13th assassination attempt became a turning point in the U.S. elections. Thousands of people, along with television cameras, witnessed the incident, which galvanized Trump's supporters. A few days after the shooting, Biden dropped out of the presidential race, handing the baton to Kamala Harris. The actual impact of the latest assassination attempt on Trump, which happened outside of public view, on the U.S. presidential race is open to debate and speculation. But one thing is clear, the incident has once again highlighted the risk of violence in this highly polarized poll. Bureau Report, DD India. Well, Ryan Wesley Routh, the man who has been suspected in this assassination attempt of the former President Donald Trump, has been charged with 2 firearm counts. The counts include possession of a firearm while a convicted felon, and possession also of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. A detention hearing has been set for September 23 and the arraignment is set for September 30. World leaders have expressed concern at the rise of political violence in the United States. The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that violence has no place in any political process.
To have discussions here at this coordination centre and with the Prime Minister about how we deal with unlawful migration. I've long believed, by the way, that prevention and stopping people travelling in the first place is one of the best ways to deal with this particular issue. So I'm very interested to know how that upstream works.
He was talking there about immigration. But let's move on to our next story. Now, several other world leaders have also reacted to Donald Trump's assassination attempt. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, taking to social media platform X, said, "Sarah and I were shocked by the second assassination attempt against President Trump, and we're relieved to hear that it too has failed. But we should not rely on luck. We send our best wishes to Donald and Melania, along with our hopes that all measures will be taken to ensure that such deadly attacks on a candidate for the U.S. presidency will be foiled in advance." The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also took to X and said, "I am glad to hear that Donald Trump is safe and unharmed. My best wishes to him and his family. It's good that the suspect in the assassination attempt was apprehended quickly. This is our principle. The rule of law is paramount and political violence has no place anywhere in the world. We sincerely hope that everyone remains safe." Moving on to our next story, campaigning for Sri Lanka's presidential election, which is set for Saturday, has reached a fever pitch, and the candidates are making their final push to attract the voters. The top contenders have been conducting meetings and rallies in various locations. They are tackling a variety of issues, as Rabindra Chauhan finds out.
Campaigning for presidential elections in Sri Lanka, scheduled for Saturday, has intensified, with candidates making final efforts to woo the voters. The front-runner candidates have been holding meetings and election rallies in various places discussing on various issues.
வந்தாலும் வந்து இந்த மாதிரி எஸ்டேட்டுகளுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி காடாக இருக்குது. வர இளைஞர்மார்களுக்கோ யாருக்கோ வேலைகள் சரியாக கொடுக்கறதில்ல. வேலைகள் ஒழுங்காக கொடுத்து சம்பளத்துகளை கூட்டி கொடுத்தா வேலை செஞ்சு இந்த மாதிரி எஸ்டேட்டுகள் வந்து காடாகாது. In 2022 there was a big riots. There were so many issues with the corruption of the leaders, the president. Somehow he brought the country to a stable position. So it's like this. So let's hope for the best what's going on.
As the incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe seeks a re-election as an independent, he is challenged by opposition leaders Sajith Premadasa from the Samagi Jana Bala Vegaya and Anura Kumara Dissanayake from the leftist alliance of National People's Power. A lawyer who has served as Prime Minister a record 6 times, Wickremesinghe elected to serve out the rest of the 5-year term of Rajapakse, who was elected in November 2019. Wickremesinghe's party holds only one seat in parliament and will need to drum up support from key parties to bolster his chances. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, the son of assassinated former Sri Lankan President and Prime Minister Ranasinghe Premadasa, is seen as a frontrunner in the 2024 Sri Lanka presidential elections. Premadasa leads the Samagi Jana Bala Vegaya. His centrist, more left-leaning party has called for changes to the $2.9 billion bailout program with the International Monetary Fund and outlined plans to adjust some targets. Premadasa studied at the London School of Economics and entered politics after his father, President Ranasinghe Premadasa, was assassinated in a suicide bombing in 1993. Leader of the People's Liberation Front, Anura Kumar Dissanayake, is also among key presidential candidates. Despite holding just 3 seats in parliament, Disanayake's promise of tough anti-corruption measures and better governance have given a popular boost to his candidacy. At rallies in Horana and Nuwara Eliya, Wickremesinghe emphasized his goal to alleviate public hardships and highlighted support from countries like India and Japan. He also defended his record on ensuring oil and gas supplies. Addressing a rally in the upcountry region, NPP candidate Anura Kumar Dissanayake highlighted the shortage of basic facilities like shortage of schools and teachers in the region. Meanwhile, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa at a rally in the north said a detailed poverty eradication program will be run by his government that will help people, including the pensioners. With many issues remained unresolved, the public is hopeful that the upcoming election will address these lingering concerns. Ravindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
And DD India correspondent Ahmed Muin Faruqi joins us now from Colombo with the latest. Ahmed, now who are the front runners in this election?
Good evening, Mark. Yes, you see, this presidential election has a record number of 38 candidates in the fray. In fact, the Election Commission has gotten printed a 2.5 feet long ballot paper. That said, the front runners in the election are incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is contesting as an independent candidate, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa of the SJB, and the leader of the leftist alliance of NPP, Anura Kumara Dissanayake.
And also, to what extent, are good ties with India seen as an election issue?
You see, Mark, India-Sri Lanka relations have been growing in strength over the last several years. Ties with India have been very crucial for Sri Lanka, as India had come to the aid of the island during and after the economic crisis as well. President Wickremesinghe today spoke about the development of Eastern Province, in which India would be a major contributor in one of his rallies. In fact, India has been an important and a strategic development partner for Sri Lanka. However, most of the key election issues revolve around economic policies, as well as charges of corruption in the previous regimes, social issues, and creation of a strong economy with job opportunities for the locals. Mark.
Ahmed Muin Faruqi, thank you very much for joining us from Colombo. Now, as the Israel-Hamas conflict nears the 1-year mark, tensions in the north continue to simmer as rocket sirens blared in several Israeli communities over the past few days. Hezbollah has traded nearly daily cross-border fire with Israeli forces since October 8, and Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has spoken to his U.S. counterpart, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who told him that the opportunity for a solution to this fighting in the northern part, the northern fighting, he said that time is soon passing. Let's look at this report.
After Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed that Houthis would pay a heavy price for a missile attack on central Israel, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant discussed the situation in the country's north in a phone call with his American counterpart, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, on Monday. Gallant told Austin that the window was closing for a diplomatic solution to the standoff with the Iranian-backed Hezbollah movement in southern Lebanon. Gallant's remarks came as the White House Special Envoy Amos Hochstein visited Israel to discuss the crisis on the northern border, where Israeli troops have been exchanging missile fires with Hezbollah forces for months. Hezbollah group has traded near daily cross-border fire with Israeli forces since October 4th last year. The violence has killed hundreds in Lebanon and dozens on the Israeli side. Iranian President Mossad Pezeshkian has denied providing hypersonic missiles to the Houthis in Yemen, a day after the Iranian-backed group said a missile fired at Israel was a hypersonic one. Amidst all this, the United Nations Palestine Refugee Agency on Monday said that the polio vaccination coverage in Gaza has reached 90%, adding that the next step was to ensure hundreds and thousands of children got a second dose at the end of the month. The campaign to vaccinate some 640,000 children in Gaza under 10 years of age against polio, which began on September 1st, presented major challenges to UNRWA and its partners due to the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. Israel's defense ministry on Monday said it had approved the distribution of 9,000 automatic rifles to civilian rapid response units in northern Israel and Golan Heights. Meanwhile, Israel's IDF troops of the Reserve 5th Brigade returned to operate in the center of Gaza Strip. Israeli media reported that the head of the army's northern command had recommended a rapid border operation to create a buffer zone in southern Lebanon. Dheeraj Das for DD India.
Jordan's King Abdullah II has nominated his chief of staff to be the new prime minister of the country, entrusting him with forming a government after parliamentary elections. Now, the outgoing prime minister, Bashir Khasoneh, submitted his resignation to the king earlier on Sunday. Hassan is a former planning minister and is a veteran diplomat, and also the former palace advisor who was appointed nearly 4 years ago. He's Harvard educated and is widely respected. He's a technocrat, and the Islamists, in fact, had won 31 seats, the most since parliamentary life was revived in 1989 after decades of martial law, leaving them the largest political grouping in parliament. Under Jordan's constitution, most of the powers still rest with the king, who appoints governments and can dissolve parliament as well. The assembly can force a cabinet to resign by a vote of no confidence. Germany is expanding its border controls to the frontiers with all 9 of its neighbors to stop irregular migrants. Now, it has sparked protests from other EU members. The border controls will be in place for an initial 6 months and are expected to include temporary structures at land crossings and spot checks by federal police. Poland and Austria have voiced their concern. The EU is not allowed to. The bloc must only impose such steps in exceptional circumstances. So Germany's Interior Minister Nancy Faeser on Sunday said that this step is aimed to limit irregular migration and to put a stop to criminals, to identify and stop Islamists at an early stage. Border controls with Poland, the Czech Republic, Austria and Switzerland were already in place before the crackdown was announced. And these now will be extended to Germany's borders with France, Luxembourg, as well as the Netherlands, Belgium and Denmark. Some other stories making news around the world. A ban on new licenses on short-term rentals in Greece will affect 3 districts in central Athens for at least a year. Greece's government also raised the tax on holiday lets. Now, tourism is a major driver of the Greek economy, but a housing shortage has prompted the country to announce new plans. After heavy floods hit Central Europe over the weekend, a dog was airlifted to safety by a helicopter by the Polish army generals. Now, this army general said that the army is evacuating people, but there is also room for animals. Still to come here on DD India News Hour, we'll discuss India's bold ambitions in renewable energy. And we'll tell you about the Bharat Startup Knowledge Access Registry, or Bhaskar. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's a recap of our main stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi tells investors at the 4th Global Renewable Energy Meet that India is the best bet for the 21st century. He flags off the Namo Bharat rapid rail service. The Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump survives another assassination bid at a golf event. He says that he's safe and will not surrender. Sri Lanka gears up for the presidential polls on the 21st of September. The incumbent president Wickremesinghe is contesting as an independent. And going back to the Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet, we are privileged to have with us Ajay Yadav. He's the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, joining us from Gandhinagar in Gujarat. Thank you, Mr. Yadav. Now, India has a renewable energy target of 500 gigawatts by 2030. How does this 4th Global Investors Meet help in meeting this target?
Yeah, good evening. As you said, this is a target of 500 gigawatt of renewable energy that is has to be achieved till year 2030. So this event was a event that marked achievement of 200 gigawatt of non-fossil capacity in the country, and this is the 4th edition of R Invest, and in this edition we are looking at the steps and the ways that have to be taken to achieve this target. Going forward, we have schemes in different. We have schemes on the solar energy field, we have schemes on the wind power field, and we have schemes that are on the hydropower field. So all these, they are deliberations over next 3 days, and these deliberations will now lead to the kind of investments that are required, the kind of steps that we need to take to achieve these targets.
Indeed, Mr. Yadav. So, what are these kind of investments that we are looking at? And you know, India is also aiming to produce 5 million tons of green hydrogen. So, how profitable is this sector for investors?
Yeah, so overall in this quest towards 500 gigawatt, we would be requiring around 30 lakh crore rupees worth of investment. And so there are investments that have been, in fact, there are companies which have lined up these investments in the country, both domestic as well as international. As far as green hydrogen is concerned, there's a allocation of 20,000 crores for green hydrogen, and the target is to produce 5 million tons of green hydrogen by year 2030. And this will also lead to an investment of 8 lakh crore of rupees, the green hydrogen mission. And it will lead to generation of 6 lakh jobs. So it will lead to capacities which are being set up for manufacturing of the electrolyzers as well as for production of green hydrogen.
Mr. Yadav, how much interest is there still in solar and wind, or do these options, you know, look like the old story, because there are a lot of new things that are developing, like tidal, ocean currents and all these other things?
So renewable energy has various facets. So solar and wind, they continue to be very strong facets. In the solar field, we are currently at around 90 gigawatt of capacity, 90,000 megawatt of capacity that the country has achieved. And going forward by 2030, we'll be achieving 300 gigawatt approximately of solar capacity. On the wind field, then currently we have around 45 gigawatt, 46 gigawatt of wind capacity, and that is going to be around 100 gigawatt of wind capacity by year 2030. In fact, if we take the case of green hydrogen as well, so here again, you require renewable energy, and renewable energy in the form of solar energy and wind energy, which is then converted into green hydrogen. And there is this huge program which is called the PM Surya Ghar program, where we are looking at decentralized production of renewable energy with solar rooftops on 1 crore households.
Indeed, that of course is definitely a strong incentive for people to have on their households to become producers. But you know, India also intends to roll out a carbon credit trading system. And how much of an incentive is that going to be?
This carbon credit trading system is already been notified by Ministry of Power, Bureau of Energy Efficiency is working on it. And as you know, all these schemes, they are targeted not only for the production of renewable energy, but also on the decarbonization part. So if we take, for example, green hydrogen, again, this will lead to avoidance of carbon of around 50 million tons. And if we take the PM Surya Ghar scheme, then it will lead to decarbonization, the avoidance of carbon emissions of around 720 million tons. So these schemes will lead to huge decarbonization. And the scheme is already, the work is going on the scheme.
Decarbonization sounds really nice as a word. Mr. Yadav, you know, Prime Minister says pro-planet people, that's what we are. How best can every citizen participate? Also, the Surya Ghar Yojana is a people's movement, isn't it?
Yeah, very rightly said. It's a people's movement and it has been launched by the Honorable Prime Minister, and till date, around more than 3.25 lakh installations have been done. And this is a scheme which covers, the target is to cover all the parts of the country, and with 1 crore households to be solarized. And it will lead to not only around 20 lakh jobs that will be created, but also lead to decarbonization. In fact, if you see, this is a movement, and as Honorable Prime Minister earlier said that the Mission Life was launched. So these are the steps that every individual can take in his own domestic, own ways to reduce the carbon footprint of his own living.
Mr. Ajay Yadav, Joint Secretary in the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Our next story, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal launched the Bharat Startup Knowledge Access Registry. That's called Bhaskar for short. It's an initiative, and this registry will serve as a central hub where startups, investors, service providers and government bodies, they can come together to collaborate, exchange ideas and, importantly, to accelerate growth. Anil Thomas has the details.
Bhaskar is set to revolutionize the startup ecosystem in India. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal launched the Bharat Startup Knowledge Access Registry or Bhaskar initiative. The primary goal of Bhaskar is to build the world's largest digital registry for stakeholders within the startup ecosystem.
Let's make this a one-stop shop for all data dissemination, for engagement, for interaction. Also, this new company will then house itself so that people who are looking for mentors, who are looking for finance, one-stop shop for the entire startup ecosystem.
To achieve this, the platform will offer several key features such as networking and collaboration. The registry will provide centralized access to resources, creating personalized identification, enhancing discoverability, and supporting India's global brand.
Startups have the most critical role to play in technology as well as in providing employments. The Investor Connect platform, which connects investors to the startups. Marg, which connects the mentors to the startups. Now, this one will bring everyone together. It is not a registry only, as the name indicates. It's not a registry only. It will bring everyone together.
Through the initiative, every stakeholder will be assigned a unique Bhaskar ID, ensuring personalized interaction and tailored experiences across the platform. By serving as a centralized registry, Bhaskar will enable seamless access to a wide array of resources, tools, and knowledge that will help fuel the entrepreneurial journey from ideation to execution.
India is home to over 146,000 government-recognized startups, and this new initiative of Bhaskar is surely going to unlock the full potential of India becoming a global leader in entrepreneurship. With camera person Kumar Datta, Anil Thomas, DD India, New Delhi.
Well, India Water Week 2024 is set to begin on the 17th of September with President Draupadi Murmu inaugurating the international event at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. And it's organized by the Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Conservation under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. And this event will bring together water experts, students and industry representatives from both India and across the world. The program will run until the 20th of September, focusing on water conservation and sustainable management solutions. Some other stories making news in India. The Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and the Tripura Chief Minister Dr. Manik Saha, they inaugurated a newly built Siddheshwara temple and they laid the foundation stone of the Ved Vidyalaya. This is a school of Hinduism in West Tripura on Monday. The second edition of the Naval Commanders Conference will begin in New Delhi on Tuesday. The conference is the apex level biannual event. It facilitates deliberations on significant strategic, operational and administrative issues. This conference is going to play a crucial role in shaping the future course of the Indian Navy. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the Indian Army and Special Operations Group Police, they conducted a joint operation in the Poonch sector to nab a hiding terrorist over there in the forest. Earlier, an encounter occurred between the security forces and the terrorists in the Kalaban area in Poonch district. And still to come here on DD India News Hour, Typhoon Bebinka wreaks havoc in Shanghai. And top honors for Shogun as well as Hacks at this year's Emmy Awards.
Welcome to Jaipur.
You're watching DD India News. I'm Mark Lynn. Now, in the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital rape murder case, the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has again held a meeting with a delegation of junior doctors at her residence. That meeting is over, and for more details, we are joined by Prasenjit Bakshi from Kolkata. Prasenjit, fill us in with the details. The government of Kolkata was saying that this was the last opportunity for this meeting.
Mark, as far as our knowledge goes, meeting is over. But for the last 1 hour, we are waiting for the doctors who are inside still now. And it is apparently, we have informed that there is some sort of discrepancy regarding the minutes, which is supposed to signed by both the parties, by the doctors and by the government. So now that things are getting checked and rechecked from the two parts, because stenographer from the two parts, from the government side and from the junior doctors, they were there. Now, as far as both the stenographers are agreed on their subject, so it is very difficult to get signed by the both parties. So this is the situation here. We are all waiting. Around 1 hour before, we have got the message that meeting is over. But officially, we cannot say that meeting is over, because as the doctors have not come out so far, Mark.
Indeed. So just for the sake of recollection, what are the basic demands of the doctors?
Look, Mark, the basic demand is the resignation of the police commissioner of Kolkata. Apparently, who was the main mentor behind what should I say, that the evidences are tampered. He is the person. Resignation of this police commissioner, resignation of the health secretary of the state and other health department officials. And apart from that, security of on-duty doctors and other health staffs, and at the same time, justice for the that victim lady. So that is that are the demands for the doctors. But the point is that whether this resignation of the police commissioner or resignation of health secretary and other health officials, that will be accepted by the government or not. If those are not accepted, then the doctor said before going inside that those are the primary demand, because the crime, whatever has happened, that is investigated by CBI. That will go on. But these are the administrative action which the West Bengal government must take. So let us wait. Let them come out, and after that we will come to know that whether such type of a resignation, random resignation of the entire health department and the police commissioner of Kolkata, that is accepted by the government or not, Mark.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for those inputs. Prasenjit Bakshi giving us the latest information from the doctors' strike in Kolkata over the rape and murder of junior doctor. Now let's move on to our next story. The world continues to feel the devastating impacts of climate change, with extreme weather conditions taking a toll across several regions. From flash floods, the countries are grappling now with increasingly unpredictable and harsh weather. Let's look at how various parts of the world are coping.
The world continues to grapple with the severe impacts of climate change as extreme weather events disrupt daily life across various regions. In India, several low-lying areas in Prayagraj, located in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh, are struggling under the weight of rising water levels. Water from the overflowing Yamuna and Ganga rivers has flooded parts of the city, leading to widespread water logging and forcing many to flee their homes.
The water level of Ganga and Yamuna rivers has been rising continuously for the last 2 days, and water has reached some residential areas. Those whose houses have been flooded will be evacuated. Essential items will be provided.
In Shanghai, China, Typhoon Bebinka has wreaked havoc, grounding over 1,400 flights and cancelling more than 570 passenger trains. The typhoon has severely impacted travel and disrupted the lives of thousands, leaving the city grappling with aftermath of this natural disaster.
I'm not that worried.
Just walked all the way here. Although the road is messy, you can see that the infrastructure is comprehensive. I'm not that too worried about the big impact on Shanghai by the typhoon.
Meanwhile, in Central Europe, the worst flooding seen in 2 decades has devastated border areas between the Czech Republic and Poland. Heavy rainfall has caused river levels to surge, collapsing bridges, damaging homes and vehicles, and forcing thousands to evacuate. The death toll across the region, which includes Austria and Romania, has tragically risen to at least 15 people.
Of course, it's a topic among the people here, and I can't imagine that there would be anyone not feeling affected, especially since the situation in the Czech Republic and over in Poland is even more tense.
As the world continues to face an increasing frequency of extreme weather events, the devastating consequences of climate change are becoming even more apparent. These disasters are a reminder of the urgent need for a global cooperation and effective measures to combat this growing crisis.
Well, you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for the sports news. And India thrashed South Korea 4-1 in the semi-final of the Asian Champions Trophy and have secured a spot in the final. And the final is against China. The unbeaten Indian team delivered yet another dominant performance with goals from Uttam Singh, Harmanpreet Singh and Jarmanpreet Singh. The captain Harmanpreet, in fact, led from the front, and he converted 2 penalty corners, taking his total goal tally now to 7 in this tournament. India held sway, giving no chance to the opponent. South Korea managed to score only 1 goal in the 33rd minute. India will now lock horns with hosts China, as we said, in the final. And talking about China, well, they stunned Pakistan in a thrilling semi-final encounter to secure their maiden berth in the Asian Champions Trophy final. China opened the scoring in the second quarter and Pakistan got one back in the third. But China then started well again, and Pakistan seemed to have been dominating the game. The final score stayed at 1-1, resulting in a shootout, and then China scored in the first 2 chances but failed in the next 2. Then Pakistan also failed to score in all 4 of their attempts. So the hosts have secured a win to advance to the finals. The goalkeeper Wang Tai-yu emerged as the hero for China, and he blocked every shot in the shootout. That's great for him. The Sri Lankan cricketer Dunit Velalage's all-round brilliance against India helped him win the ICC Men's Player of the Month award for August 2024. The 21-year-old overcame competition from South Africa's Keshav Maharaj and the West Indian Jayden Seals to secure this award. Velalage made big strides in his nascent international career in August. Velalage had 108 runs to his credit and 7 wickets as well, helping Sri Lanka overcome India in that ODI series. And Sri Lanka overcame India for the first time in a bilateral series since 1997. Sri Lanka's Harshita Madhavi overcame competition from the Irish duo of Orla Pendergast and Gabby Lewis to win the ICC Women's Player of the Month for August 2024. The talented left-handed top-order batter has gone from strength to strength in recent months and continued her stirring form in August against Ireland. This is also the 3rd Women's Award for this island nation in 2024. The 76th edition of the Primetime Emmy Awards honored the best in American primetime television programming, and the ceremony was held on Sunday. It was the 2nd Primetime Emmy Awards ceremony to be held in 2024. The previous one couldn't take place in the year 2023. So take a look at this report by our correspondent Diptanshu Kashyap.
Historical epic Shogun won the prestigious Best Drama Award at the Emmy Award, while Hack went on to win the Best Comedy Series as Hollywood celebrated the best of American television. While the former won 4 awards this year, the latter won 3.
I think that big props to Hiro Sanada for really making sure it was on point, and because we are Japanese, this is what we do. this is what we are. So Hero really created a place for us to really be our Japanese selves.
Although fans of the bear got disappointed by the victory of Hack, it did win 4 Emmy, including Best Actor for Jeremy Allen White.
My beautiful cast, I love you forever. I love to work with you, and I want us to be in each other's lives for forever. I love you so dearly.
Other notable Emmy winners of this year include Jodie Foster for True Detective, Elizabeth Debicki for The Crown, Billy Crudup for The Morning Show, and John Oliver for Last Week Tonight. The winners were chosen by nearly 22,000 members of Hollywood's Television Academy. This year's Emmys was hosted by father-son duo Eugene and Dan Levy, best known for their work in Schitt's Creek. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook and otherwise. But, if you're looking for the news on the go, then the DD India mobile app is your app. It's available both in Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lynn, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks very much for watching DD India News Hour. It's been our pleasure to give you the news this evening. Namaskar.